Yeah, the draft is this Thursday. As we've been talking about the last couple of podcasts, Kings have the 24th overall pick. Just a plethora of players that the Kings have the opportunity to maybe draft there, maybe not draft there. It's a weird spot. It's a spot the Kings haven't been in years because we're usually drafting top 5. Seems like more like top 10. Yeah, they've had like picks in the 20s, but they've usually had picks before then. Because when they're picking in the 20s, it's usually like, you know, Malachi Richardson or Richard Skins or Scalabus here. So just, giving it all our attention this time. If that's only a first round pick, it's a little different. And you're realizing that it's hard to guess who's going to go 24 because you don't know who's going to be there then and whatnot. So it's been interesting as we cover it. John, I think I asked you this last time, so I'm not going to ask it again. But yeah, you said
no,
Ryan
you're going to ask
Rupert.
it again because I got a different answer.
Okay, I was just going to say, you said Ryan Rupert last time of who you think the Kings would draft. Has that changed? And it sounds like it has.
Well, to clarify, last week I said it's either going to be Rupert or Whitehead. I still feel like Rupert's in play, but I feel like Whitehead will probably be gone, maybe like by the, a few picks. I would say Rupert and Maxwell Lewis. Just because I'm just like looking at the like consensus, taking together like a bunch of different mock drafts and just kind of synthesizing it into one based on averages. Like Rupert, like they have in this one, they have the Kings picking Noah Clowney. But I would say
Davion's brother.
Yeah. Both out of the SEC. And Ryan Rupert is 25.
What?
Well, this is the big board, I guess I should say. Technically speaking, they have Chris Murray going 20.
They have 25 years old.
Oh, no. No, yeah, maybe he's going to be the perfect prospect at 25. But I guess like the big board has Ryan Rupert at 25 and Clowney at 24. They still have Chris Murray technically going 24 because so many different mock drafts have him going 24, which is just totally skewed the projection synthesis here. But Rupert and Maxwell, and it's just like you start looking at the players, I guess what I'm trying to say is after 24 here that are on the big board, it's Rupert, Gigi Jackson, Colby Jones, Maxwell Lewis, Brandon Podziemski. And I feel like Rupert makes just so much sense. I would put money just singularly on Rupert getting picked by the Kings, even if he sticks around with the Kings where they end up trading him. Especially if you're talking about some kind of trade with the Raptors. Don't you think Ryan Rupert would be the type of guy the Raptors would love to have in retooling? Mm-hmm. Like you're talking about a guy that could technically become OG Anunoby.
Yeah, honestly.
With the shooting upside that he potentially could have. He could definitely be that kind of like two-way dominant defender, add a little bit something in spacing the floor. So Rupert or Lewis? And I just feel like Lewis for a completely different reason. Like Lewis on the basis of them, like not necessarily having him part of the nightly rotation, but in play, like a kind of like how a lot of good teams use rookies, excluding guys like Christian Braun, but guys that kind of just get their feet wet in the rookie year and kind of get, I guess, ushered in slowly over the course of a season or two into the rotation. Maxwell Lewis could be good. And I like that Pepperdine connection. I just stick by it. I could just see Doug Christie just being like, no, I get Kessler Edwards in there. The club option hasn't even been picked up on him, and he's just telling guys in the front office what to do.
Yeah, pick him up, Pepperdine.
Got to do it. Got to get another wave. That's their mascot, the Waves.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, I don't... I had no idea.
Like, what the hell are you talking? It's like their hairstyle. I didn't think Doug Christie had hair.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? The Wave. Interesting.
What if the Pepperdine Weaves? Your weaves on point.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, did you have any changes in terms of who they might pick? Did you say Chris Murray last time?
I said Chris Murray last time. I'm just gonna stick with it just because I don't know. I would like Chris Murray on the Kings. He kind of fits the game plan a little. And he's a good. He's just like his brother. Better rebounder, not as good as a 3-point shooter, but a high character guy. And I just don't know. It's just so hard. There's just so many options here. It's just hard for me to pick one. I could feel like I'd say 5 guys, and they'd all have the same chance in my head to go to the Kings. I just seems like a lot of people are saying Chris Murray, so I feel like that's why I'm saying Murray.
I think that's fair. I think when you look at it from that angle, it's like, okay, I can actually kind of see why people just keep saying Murray, because it's impossible to mock this position in the draft anyways. Might as well just go with the one that people would be most intrigued by, on a cursory level. Like, it doesn't take, oh, well, get the Twins together. That'd be great. Good for the Kings. Like, couldn't you just see somebody in the Midwest reading that? Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna stick with Murray, and he's projected, as high as 19 in some drafts, as low as I see the Ringer have dropped him down to 27 to the Hornets.
Wow.
Yeah, so who knows? Like you said, who knows? That's like 9 or it's 8 spots a difference right there. So I'm gonna stick with Murray. I think it would be cool to get him. Keegan was a hit in his first year. I think Murray could. I think Chris could too. So, but who knows? That's the end of the day. It's a weird spot. I'm not used to this. Usually, we're like last year was like, all right, well, do they take Jaden Ivey or Keegan Murray? That's kind of the talk.
And that was even kind of just manufactured because it just seemed so obvious that they weren't going to pick Ivy.
Yeah,
So
especially after a certain point.
Yeah. But it could not. At the end of the day, it might not matter because they could end up just using the pick, making the pick, and then just trading that fella right away.
Yeah, that is true. Straight to the Raptors. A draft day trade. We have a trade. That'd be cool, though. If the Kings did OG, man, that would be... Oof. If they don't have to give up too much.
Like we laid out earlier, there's a reason they're aggressively pursuing him. That's just the perfect... And that's a key. If they don't have to give up too much.
I would be so excited for next year if they got OG. I'd be like, dang, this like... I mean, I don't know if they're... I mean, obviously, right at this moment with their team, they're not championship contenders, not in my eyes. But, man, if you get OG and the Kings really start clicking as, like, because the third, I didn't really see him like, okay, they're the third seed, they're a championship contender. But, like, the second season, really growing as a team and adding in a young guy like OG who could fit the team perfectly, it's like, oh, man, they really build off the last year. And, like, Sabonis and Fox really... make the name as one of the better duos in this league with OG. It's like the team can actually go somewhere. So I'd be super excited.
There's a reason people talk about the Nuggets and the Kings. I mean, I think the Beal trade probably puts the Suns right back. I mean, I think already they were already in the conversation as being one of the better teams in the Western Conference, but maybe you start talking about those 3 teams. But even before this Beal trade, it seemed like there were a lot of people directly in the aftermath of the championship. It's like obviously the Nuggets, but then you start looking at maybe a more younger, less experienced upside coming into their own, going to continue inching their way into the center stage of the NBA. The Sacramento Kings, man. I mean, that is just seems like something that's kind of getting to that point where it's like projections are indicating that they're going to be even better than they were last season. And I think OG Anunoby just, man, that would take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it would be exciting. So, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, the draft is Thursday. So, I mean, not only could we be looking forward to possibly, the Kings' next first round draft pick, but who knows? A trade could be made once that draft is in. So, it'll be exciting to sit there and listen and watch. Even though, the 24th pick?
God, you're gonna have to watch for.
I mean, that's on like 2 hours into the draft.
Yeah, it's gonna take so long.
I honestly probably won't turn it on. I mean, I'll probably turn it on once like the lottery ends, just so I'm like, okay, who's here and who's not. But it's just so funny because I used to turn the draft on right when it would come on because the Kings weren't too far in. Now it's like I don't really care who these other teams pick, especially with the Kings. They're not going to drop to the Kings, so it'll be a different experience for sure. A good one though, even though it's less exciting.